Nitin Chopra. Once again, great job by Peel Regional Police, commendable job, and hats off to Peel Police. 9 years ago, we had the same question. We have provincial and federal counterparts here also. And today, the question remains the same. For how many days these criminals will remain behind the custody, in the custody, or they are already out? So question goes to federal and provincial counterparts. Anyone can answer. Thank you.
I would maybe just, you asked a question specifically to the number of people that are out who have been charged, et cetera. And of course, I would ask the team to correct me, but of the 13 charged, 5 have been provided bail. Now, keeping in mind some of those are youth. And then to speak to the broader question that you're asking, Neaton, particularly around like sentencing, bail reform, I think what I would like to do is just provide assurance to our community and certainly the people that were affected by the crimes in this investigation. Peel Police is not just enforcement oriented. We are looking for the gaps and the issues and really the opportunity to represent voices like yours and other community members' voices and represent them in a way that helps fill some of those gaps. So that's something that we're continuing to look at, bail reform, et cetera. And again, I would defer to the letters that have been issued by our Police Services Board. Patrick, our Mayor, Patrick Brown, and really the collection that you see here. There's a collective will to make change that results in genuine difference, and that's what we're working on.
And just to say, Nitin, I know you've been on this topic for a long time, but I think there is reason for optimism. I know there's new bail reform legislation coming in the fall, and just as recently as a month ago, Chief Nish, Deputy Chief Milnovich were meeting with the Ministers of Public Safety, the Minister of Justice, the Minister of Combating Crime, to share Peel Police's input on how we could strengthen bail reform in Canada. I know Minister Hammett has been on that non-stop as well, but I feel that we're on the precipice of seeing some meaningful bail reform that we'll hopefully see the details on in the fall.
The federal government is reducing the number of temporary residents in Canada. In recent past, we have seen many criminal gangs being charged for violence and thefts. Could you specify the immigration status of these who have been charged with creating havoc in our communities? What was the immigration status? Because earlier also we have seen in press conferences many of the immigration status, because the community wants to know whether they are homegrown culprits or they came to country without getting criminal background checks. So we would like to know from Peel Police and also from federal or provincial counterparts.
I can say that all 13 that were charged in this are Canadian citizens.
And then maybe just to the second part of your question, Neaton, and I'm happy to pass it over to some of the federal representation we have here, is I believe the reputation, and certainly we provide the details that we see. If we see a trend or something that's concerning, we share that with the community. In this case, it isn't an issue. In other cases, we have pointed certain things out. And it's not to point the finger, it's to identify, again, the gaps that maybe exist that we collectively can address. Again,
Thank you very much. I'll just start by saying thank you to our phenomenal Peel Police and to our representatives who have done an amazing job in ensuring that our communities are safe. With respect to your question as to what the immigration status is of people, I think that what we need to do is focus on the crime and the criminal and to protect our communities without creating a rift between people. Canada is very lucky to have so many diverse communities that live together, that work together, and that are all of us willing and able to work together to ensure that all of us are safe. And so as we're talking and dealing with immigration issues, I can assure you that our IRCC department works really hard to ensure that everybody that comes into Canada has clear and really rigorous security processes where they go through criminality checks and security checks and their prohibitions, etc. And we are willing to work with all of our counterparts, the police, with our local representatives and with the provincial representatives as well to ensure that our communities are safe while also ensuring that there is no bias and that people are able to live, work and play together here in a city like Mississauga and the region of Peel. Thanks.
Thank you for the questions. I'd like to touch on your previous question from the provincial perspective. I touched on it in my remarks as well. We do need meaningful bail reform from the federal government. Now, it's something they've signaled is coming in September, so I'm very excited to see what's being presented. But this is an issue that all 13 premiers in our country have been united on for a long time. You must have heard the news about the 6-time drunk driver that was arrested last week and let out on bail with a promise of promising that he wouldn't drive again, despite the fact that he already had 3 lifetime convictions. So we do need to strengthen our criminal code and bail reform to make sure that people like that driver aren't allowed to endanger public safety. But thank you for the question.